Hello, senators and legates. Welcome to Total War Tactics. Today we're going to take a closer look at a tactic which has shown to be very effective in real life. But now we need to figure out if it's good enough for Total War. As you can see, we're going to be doing this in Rome 2 with the Divide Et Impera mod enabled. We're going to be covering a tiny bit of historical context, the theoretical formation and how to execute it, the army composition, how to use it in game, and last but not least, how to defeat it. We're going to try this tactic out against Mýself, another YouTuber who have made his own video of this battle here over on his channel if you want to watch it. If there are any certain parts of the video you want to see, there are timestamps in the description for you to use. But with that said, let's introduce the tactic. The so-called wedge formation or flying wedge has existed for over 2000 years and have been mentioned by more names than you can imagine. The wedge got its rise to fame through Philip II of Macedon and Alexander the Great in this 350th BCE. But they didn't invent the strategy. It was actually first used by the Scythians and Thracians, who Philip II adopted his tactics from. It was made famous by the Macedonian companion cavalry, where it was used as part of his hammer and anvil tactics. Back then it was used in scale of smaller units, but it would later become more regular to implement on an army-sized scale, which is what we are gonna try to do today. Nowadays you can see it being used by fighter pilots in the air, but actually even civilian police forces have on occasion used it for riot control. This is just one of the many ways to show you how versatile this formation is. It can be used in any situation in so many different time periods. I could talk for ages about the history of this tactical formation, but it might be best if we change the subject to how we actually do this. As you might have guessed, they formed up in a wedge. In the center you will have the reinforced tip. This is basically where your strongest units will be, and they would be the ones making the main attack, trying to win the battle. At each side you will have your wings, who are covering each other's flanks, and therefore preventing an outflanking maneuver by the enemy. The idea of this formation is that the reinforced tip will outperform the enemy's main line and create a gap in their formation to exploit. To stop the reinforced tip, the opponent would need to make a counter-attack, but that's impossible as our wings will just make a counter-attack which would destroy their entire attempt. Sounds excellent on paper, so let's change the subject to the army composition. If you want to talk about what factions you can use this formation with, then the answer is quite simple. It's pretty much any. History has shown that, so we're just gonna say any pretty much. But this is of course a competitive game-ish, sort of friendly competitive, but I know Mýself he will be using the Parthians as he have a campaign let's play on his own YouTube channel with that said faction. Meanwhile I'm going to be using the Bactrians, his neighbors, in that said campaign. Our general is going to be a noble cavalry for safety reasons. For the reinforced tip we need strong and elite units who can win the battle for us. So we need 6 units. 2 Yavanna guards for the front, 3 thorax swordsmen for extra power after the engagement, and then 1 Bactrian infantry as the last resort if we need them. For the wings we need something sturdy enough to stay in a prolonged battle while still being able to counterattack if needed. Therefore we have chosen 4 Thorio spears, 2 for each wing, and 2 Bactrian infantrymen, 1 for each wing. And as this is Rome 2, we of course need archers. We're going to have 2 archer spearmen, one at each flank, as they will be able to repel any attack from cavalry if we somehow get flanked. And then we're gonna have 3 Marian longbowmen in the center, as they should be safe from cavalry and they will have a long range, which should be able to deal with the Parthian horse archers. And last but not least, we have 2 citizen cavalry as a fast reinforcement unit to wherever they are needed. But with that said, let's take a look at how this battle went. As we move forward in our formation, we spotted 4 Parthian horse archers from the front. This was the perfect job for our Marian archers. With one of his horse archer units destroyed, he made a tactical retreat back into the forest. We pursued him with our left wing, forcing our thorax to move forward and protect our archers, while our right wing scouted ahead of the formation to find his main army.
Who's for a drink? There's time!
Not in my unit, there isn't!
We eventually found them to our right, so we shifted our formation so that the reinforced tip would face his main line. Our left wing would hide in the forest behind us, hoping to ambush his horse archers who were trying to outflank us. We succeeded and caught them off guard. With our backs clear, we moved forward once again, but this time his Persian archers were hiding on the top of a hill, completely obliterating one of our archers. We could not let this continue, so I ordered our right wing to occupy the hill. On the left flank, I saw an opportunity to attack a few units who were a small distance away from his army. So I ordered one of our thorax to break formation and attack them from the side. Our cavalry would also be sent over there to reinforce. It was at this point Immersaholic used the speed of his cavalry to assist his right flank, giving him an edge over my cavalry. They would get completely destroyed, allowing his cavalry to do extremely damaging rear charges in our lines. But our right wing would now be able to get in behind his. slowly turned into a bunch of smaller fights where all of our units who were caught all alone would be destroyed. Realizing our only way out of this battle here with the victory was to get rid of his anvil from his hammer and anvil tactic, we focused down his remaining infantry. It ended up in a brawl where our Yavanna guards came out on top. I'm not giving anywhere near enough justice to this battle here. It was extremely fun and intense, so I would really recommend you guys to go over to Immersaholic's channel and check out his point of view. But back to the tactic, where I must admit I broke formation and abandoned the tactic right before the main engagement. But it proved useful to defeat his horse archers who couldn't get close enough to deal with ours. So I would expect this formation to be very good in the hands of an experienced Wedge user. The most obvious way to win against this tactic is to have more elite units to win the one-on-one situations. But that's not really that helpful for you guys, so let's give you 3 other reasons, 3 other ways to do this, okay? The first cool way to succeed would be by changing your front lines into an inverted wedge, so the reinforced tip won't get its desired effect. It would also help trying to attack them from all sides and surround them. Which goes into the second way you can defeat this tactic is just to put immense pressure on both wings or just one of them, forcing them back or fight an unfavorable battle. The last way to counter this formation I want to cover is to go the long distance around the wings and then outflank them or just envelop their wings and completely destroying their morale. In the battle here you also saw Immersaholic defeating our cavalry, allowing his own cataphract cavalry and shock cavalry to just go around ours, so he actually did that and then he just began destroying our front line, which was really smart on his point of view, so applause to him for that. But now I've put my opinion on this tactic, I would like to hear yours. You can do that in the comment section or by joining our Discord server. But until the next time,